Welcome to Close Quarters. As you know, we are going through a lockdown and days are looking very uncertain. And we thought we need to reach out to people who have created their own brands or found a way to bring an identity to Sri Lanka to see how they are coping through this third, fourth, I have lost count of the waves they've gone through. But Close Quarters is a bit different for Asanka because he is closed within the quarter. His house is also here and one of his branches are here, so we thought we'll meet him here as we expose ourselves less to the kid and to the wife as well. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me, Danu.
How do you keep a smile on your face during a lockdown?
Well, we are in a very lucky position, Danu. We have a great fan base. The American, European, Australian markets are coming very strongly, bouncing back after their vaccinations. So that has been really helpful to us to, and the collections that we've launched both on one's called Two Worlds, which is essentially targeted to Sri Lankans and others living in these countries outside of Sri Lanka, plus our wedding collection that we launched some few months back are doing very, very well. So we are keeping us busy and of course there's lots of challenges during these periods, but we are in a very lucky position. And that keeps me smiling.
That's amazing. One of the reasons why we wanted to also do this show is I think everyone can relate to the fact that staying within a few built walls can really cripple you mentally, physically, and also emotionally. It can really drain you. And it has been draining so many people because they have been facing so much of anxiety, fear, stress, and also the fact of, this uncertainty has really affected a lot of people. So we wanted to reach out and see how do you maintain a positive mindset? How do you sort of think clear during these times? That's one of the most important things. How have you sort of managed to, keep your focus still quite aligned with what you do every day?
Yeah, I think the resilience factor is really, really important, and it's a challenge. I know I speak to many of my friends who are running small to medium businesses, staying engaged, handling the pressure of payroll, taxes, loan payments, rents, all of that is not that easy, especially because this is now almost 18 months of lockdowns. So, however, this is a learning period for all of us. Personally for me, I have a lot of reading to do. I take a lot of classes online. I work on new collections, new ideas, but truly having the family close to us, the kid, that always helps to, when things get a little too much, it's nice to take a break. And I think realistically, if you can especially afford increase in the amount of time outside of this kind of thinking itself, is very, very helpful.
Yeah. In terms of where you, I think Sri Lanka is, as much as we are blessed as a country, we are also blessed with a lot of thriving entrepreneurs who have come forward, because before this whole lockdown and the bomb hit us and crippling our economy in ways that we can't even imagine, there was so many youngsters who sort of left their desk job or their usual routine life to go ahead and start from restaurants to Instagram ventures to even following their passions and creating a business. Even you have done the same.
Absolutely.
I don't think anyone in their right mind will leave the US and come here, leaving such a cool job that people talk about to do sarongs when you put it down that way. But
True.
Yeah. So for someone like you, what would you say from such a structured work life that you had, which was, I'm sure it's a fab pay and a fab lifestyle.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So the two sides to it is in a way having something truly meaningful to me and I'm passionate about is really helpful, because the work I put in, even it is difficult, even there are days that are not maybe the best, you kind of feel a little bit down, but that passion, that excitement is there. So when I'm working on it, it really fuels me. The other part of it is, of course, the period that we've been stuck in this situation is very long, and realistically it could go for some time too. So that is a challenge to work out, because for many people figuring out your finances or your company's finances, that adds so much pressure. I know I keep bringing this part out, but being honest about it, talking with your employees, even with your banks or other mechanisms, is very, very helpful to keep that, give yourself a break. Yeah.
And sort of like be transparent about it.
Yeah, because you know, the you might have entered into an entrepreneurial venture thinking, you know, of course not thinking about these interruptions we've had. So it's not necessarily your fault or your idea's fault that this particular period is there, especially at the start of that entrepreneurial journey. So don't take it personally, take it the learnings, see what you can do now. And I've seen a lot of people really adapt into this situation, starting even new different ventures. Some starting restaurants, some starting delivery services, all adapting. So that all is building up into the resilience of the person and learning. And fortunately, in maybe a little bit of time when these things settle up, that will help create new ventures.
How do you handle a decision? I don't know whether you have done it as a company, but when it comes to, you know, slimming your pay,
Yeah.
how do you sort of convince yourself that you might have to cut salaries of your staff?
Well, I mean, it's it depends on the relationship you have or the culture of the company. In our company, pretty much everybody, it's more transparent culture. Then everybody knows how much money we make, how much sales we make. So even when we have to, you know, reduce salaries, which we have over the last several months to survive, then people know why we are doing it. So there's no doubt about like, okay, this guy, is the company making a lot more money and not passing it to us, or it's a shared commitment from everybody. That so that it depends on the relationship and the culture that you have built. And for many small and medium businesses, the companies are somewhat like families. So we are less inclined to let somebody go than to keep people even at a lower rate that the company can afford. You know, so that's how we've approached it.
Okay. So just on the lines of maybe thinking out of the box, your ideal day during a lockdown, what time does it start? What time does it end? What do you sort of pile in between apart from Netflix?
Yes. Well, generally the routine has not changed that much. At least for me, I try to get some kind of a exercise in the morning.
Just like me, you know, I'm out there running at 5. Yeah.
And at least to kind of be cognizant of that part. And working really, building a list that you want to get done for the week, for the month, at least for the day. And maybe cutting off a lot of that. Even after you build the list, you say, okay, these are not important anymore. Because the reality is that there are so many difficulties. So even getting 1 or 2 important things done that otherwise you would have neglected doing helps kind of momentum. And then, of course, in my case, I get a chance to spend more time with my kid and wife. So that's always nice. And, you know, read books, learn, all of that. But generally, to kind of keep structured, some form of structure really helps. At least some kind of a semblance of a weekday versus a weekend day, so that you don't feel kind of
it's all
days rolling into one big mess.
Mm.
You don't know what it is today, Friday or Saturday or Wednesday.
Yeah, I actually ask that question quite often. I'm like, what day is it today? Yeah, because you tend to forget, like.
Yeah, we are just stuck around four walls, for the most part. So yeah, it's absolutely helpful to at least have even 30 minutes, 40 minutes short breaks to kind of do one or few of those things that you used to do.
And that sort of helps everyone sort of maintain sanity.
And also give all the other people some space, because when you're in a very closed environment as adults, we also need some private time, private space, as loving as everybody
Everyone
is,
is.
so that you
Emotions
don't
can
get
drive
get
people.
on each other's hair.
Yeah, true. Before we go, just want to ask you, as a Sri Lankan, as someone who's living in this country, as someone who has brought your expertise back into this motherland, do you think the country has done enough to support the people during this pandemic, or do you feel that there should be more?
I think it is a very difficult situation for the government or public policy leaders or politicians or anybody, and we were even less prepared for these kind of situations than some of the richest countries in the world. So structurally we were not as prepared. Given that, I think there's a commendable job being done to keep us all safe, even if and let as much of the economy been working. Of course, we can hope and wish that things could get better and could be done more. But overall, I think given the extent of the challenges, not only what the pandemic brought, but the Easter attack brought, our own debt crisis and the challenges with the currency and all these multitude of issues, I think we are in a pretty good situation, and hopefully with the vaccine rollout progressing, we will be able to get into a place where we can open. And that's the hope. Especially the schools can be open so that the parents can come in back to work.
And kids will know what it is to go to school.
Yes, and then I think that's a very big next step for us, is to focus on how to get the kids to school and parents back to come into work. And the vaccinations will really help.
Superb. Well, I think we all try to stay positive, and that's the most important thing. Before we say goodbye, if you have bought yourself a Lovi sarong, good on you, because you can relax at home actually without having to, not only cramp yourself but cramp parts of you as well.
Yeah. Well, the other part is you have to do something to treat yourself, whether it's a piece of chocolate or
of course.
or something, because this is a tough time. It's an unprecedented tough time for all of us. So do something nice, whatever it is, to treat yourself.
And try and look good.
Yeah, that always helps.
That definitely helps. That's actually one of the best things to keep your mind active. On that note, we need to say thank you for
having me,
making me a part of your close quarters.
Thank you, Danu.
We will see you soon. Speaking about positivity, speaking about these times, how do you actually look beyond the framework that has been given to you? Let's speak to more interesting people. Do stick around to Hi TV, your luxury channel. Till then, you keep smiling in the wrap.